All right, you guys. So before we start going over the distributive property, let's cover a few things here. So back to what we initially began with, a negative times a negative is going to equal a positive when we're working with our integers. A positive times a positive is always going to equal a positive. And finally, a negative times a positive is always going to give you a negative. So when we're doing the distributive property, what we're looking for is everything inside. We have to multiply the negative 3 by the positive 2f, as well as the negative 3 is going to be multiplied by the negative 6. So we're going to start off by making our little circles or angles, triangles here, our arrows. So a negative 3 times a 2f is going to give you a negative 6f. And then we're going to take that negative 3 and we're going to go ahead and multiply it by the negative 6. So remember, if we go back here, a negative times a negative is going to equal a positive. So a negative 3 times a negative 6 is going to give you a positive 16. And we're going to circle our number and we'll call it a day on that one. Now, if we go over here, we've got a negative 4 and a positive 10. So we do our negative 4 times our positive 10, and it gives us a negative 40. So once again, when we look over here, we've got a negative 4 multiplied by a negative 7g, and that's going to give us a positive 28g. Now, if you were to see something like this, where it's strictly a negative outside, just remember that you have our secret 1 that's in front. So a negative 1 times a positive 5t gives you a positive 5t. And our negative 1 times our negative 62 will give us a positive 62. And once again, we are done. Now, where you need to be concerned about is we get into these crazy looking fractions. So we have a negative 1/8 times a 16x. And then we have our negative 1/8 multiplied our negative 24. So if we were to put that into a calculator, we're going to go ahead and X this guy out. We're going to set it up as negative 1, and then we're going to go over here to that A, B/C, and that is our fraction button. And we're going to put 8, and we're going to multiply that by 16, which is going to give us a negative 2. So over here, we're going to put a negative 2x, and then we're going to worry about our negative 24. So once again, over here, we're going to do our negative 1 function button 8 times our negative 24, and that right there is going to give us, well, that's not the right answer, so negative 1/8 times negative 24, and there we go, that gives us our positive 3. So we're going to put plus 3 here, and we are going to circle it. Now, if that looks a little not what you're used to seeing and you want to do it long-handed, you can go ahead and you can rewrite this as negative 1/8. And if you want to go through and multiply it step by step, you can multiply it 16 times 1. And we can simplify it right off the top, which would give us our negative 2x. And we can do it again over here with negative 1/8 times negative 24 over 1. We can simplify it, and that will again give us our positive 3. So either way that you wish to do it, you may do so, and it's going to still give you negative 2x plus 3. If we want to do one more, just to make sure that we are feeling good over here, we can work on this one. So you're going to do 8 times our negative 1, go over here to put our fourth in, which will give us a negative 2. So over here, I'm going to put negative 2r, and we've got a positive and a positive, so we're going to keep that a positive. Clear that out and do 8 times 1 over 2, or 1/2, which gives you a positive 4. So this is how we are working with the distributive property.